You think you know, but you have no idea. This is the YouTube exclusive, true, non-Hollywood story of normal, average, everyday mom, Kimberly Wadsworth. Hello party people, I have had a lot of burning questions lately, so I figured I'd film a Q&A to share with you and kind of get it all off my chest. You guys have a lot of Q's, I've hopefully got a lot of A's. The biggest question on the docket, I actually wasn't sure. I was skimming through the questions at first because I was like, how am I even gonna start this? What is the first question? It seems like it should be a big one, right? Because we're right out the gate, it should be strong. And then I realized the most important question that everyone has been asking, did we get the lake house? So I will share that it has been a journey, this whole house buying process. Okay, so I last left you where we were trying to get a bigger loan, I think, because this house was outside of the budget of houses that we were looking for, which was already pretty high. And so this house is higher than what I was previously comfortable spending because just, you know, multiple reasons. I can go on and on about that. But the lake house was a dream property. You know, it's on the water. I don't know if I expressed this, but it had quite a bit of land. I mean, property like this doesn't come up in Florida ever. So I thought, let's just do it. We can do it. We went over our finances and thought, you know what, on our end we can do this. Let's see if we get approved for a loan. We spoke with our lender and he said, this looks great, everything should be good to go. Let me see if I can get you pre-approved. And he responded back, I think the next day or something, and he said, we're pre-approved. So then we went, we put an offer in on the house. They were still having an open house. Okay, you guys, it was the second day of open houses, but you know the good thing about the second day of open houses? It was the first football Sunday of the year. So I don't think a lot of people showed up. Short story long, we put in an offer and they accepted. What? They accepted? It's our first accepted offer! We put offers in on several houses. I was shocked, Alex was shocked, I have goosebumps all over. I could not even believe mine eyes. I couldn't believe it. Alex and I just looked at, we were like, what? There's still a process though, okay? There's still a process, which is why it's been so long since I've shared the house with you to now. So fast forward a few days, we got an inspection done. Everything looked good with the inspection, and then we had to wait for, I don't know, a few more things to like fall into place and make sure everything was good. Everything fell into place, you guys. I can't even believe it. We're getting the house. We sign, oh my gosh, real soon. So the buyers are actually looking to move not too far, but they want to move closer to their daughter because their daughter's about to have a baby. The coolest grandparents ever, literally moving from a dream location to move closer to your daughter who's having a baby just so you can be closer to her. And I mean, if they would have still lived in their house now, they would still be relatively close because they told us the area that they're looking. I digress. I was just like, when they told me why they were moving, my heart skipped a beat. I just thought, oh my gosh, I hope we can be as cool of a grandparents as you guys. So they found a house. So that was the contingency. Okay, so most houses these days on this market are closing within 30 days. People want to get going and move, right? Well, they asked for 60 days. So Alex and I were like, well, shoot, I'll do 90 days if we have to wait for that property. So 60-day closing. And there are a few other contingencies that we, you know, had to work out, but 60 days is not too far off anymore. We're about a little less than a month away now. And then they asked for a few other, so short story long, we are going to be moving in middle of November. We're signing a couple weeks before then, but then we have a wedding and there's some things, logistics that we had to work out. So move date for us is beginning, did I say middle of November? It doesn't matter. For you guys, you'll see it middle of November. For us, it'll be early November. I cannot believe it. It's so crazy. It is so crazy. We found it. After all this time, can you even believe it? Okay, I'm sitting here scrolling through Instagram is where I asked, you know, for you guys to ask questions. I also did it on my YouTube community tab, and there are so many questions. I don't know which one to start with. There's so many good ones. I just don't know where to start. Okay, I'll just start. This one has 59 likes. How do you have time to do it all? Your house always looks clean. Even when it's messy and you're constantly cooking fresh foods, house hunting, and taking care of the kids. I'm surprised that one got so many likes because I feel like compared to, you know, the other YouTubers, I'm like the disaster. I'm the mess. There's no way that, you know, comparison is the killer of joy. But if you were to compare me to all these other like picture perfect YouTubers, I'd be over there in the corner with like slop on my face and half my clothes hanging off my body. I do my best. And that's all I can do is my best. Alex and I, we're a good team. I don't know how to answer this. I don't know. I just do what I can. I'm very like, in my brain, I just think, oh, this needs to be done. Let me just do it. And like no excuses type of person. And I've always been like that, pretty productive. There was one job that I had. I was a pharmacy tech. And they would always ask me, because I would just be like, and I'm pretty effective and fast at whatever I do. And so I had coworkers ask me like, why are you the way that you are? And I one time told them, because they asked me, oh, tell me about your life. And so I said, well, where do you want to start? The beginning? I was 2 months early being born, and they said, that explains it. Just straight out the gate. I just couldn't wait. I guess I'm too impatient or something. I couldn't even wait the whole 9 months that it took to grow in my mother's womb. I was like, get me out of here. There's stuff I gotta do. I always love when I get this question. Do you have a musical theater background? I know you sing to be silly, but you really have a great voice. Crying. It makes me so happy when you guys comment on that stuff. Heck no, I don't have a musical theater. I mean, I took drama in high school. I explained that in my last Q&A. And I do it for fun. And my friends and I growing up, we had camcorders like way before it was cool. I thought it was cool. And we would do skits and stuff. We would lip sync. And it was just like we would have the time of our lives. So basically I was a YouTuber before YouTube. I didn't upload it anywhere, but my friends and I would watch it. We would laugh, just be silly. And so there's that. Maybe it could have gone to Broadway had I had the proper support and maybe a vocal coach. But other than that, no. Oh, okay, more kids. That was a really big question. So I would love to have a fifth. When I say I mean Alex and I have obviously talked about it. We would love to have a fifth. We're actually hopefully planning to have a fifth. Beyond that, I don't know. I take it one child at a time. My brain can't compute. In my mind, I've always thought, okay, I think 5 is my max. But now that we have 4, I'm like, I don't know, 4 is a lot. I mean, after we had 1, I was like, oh, I don't know how I could do this ever again. And then I did it again. I was like, wow, it's so much easier the second time around. You know what to expect. And then the third one came in and I was like, wow, this is pretty nice. I feel like the babies just get better and better. And then we had a 4th sweet baby, Miracle Meredith. And it's been she's turning 2 this November. So if history repeats itself, I typically get pregnant you know, around March of the 3rd year. So all my kids are almost exactly 3 years apart. That's just how my body works, I guess. I have no idea. We don't like specifically plan it that way. That's just how it's worked out in the past. I don't know. So at the lake house it's a 4-bedroom house. Well, 4 bedrooms and an office. So right now we have the main bedroom for Alex and I. Avelina, Eleanor, and Wentworth each have their own room. So that leaves the office for Meredith for now, but we're actually having a contractor come out and we want to add on 2 rooms and a bathroom. So we'll have a Jack and Jill. Because of course we toured the house and I said, Alex's house is perfect except for Jack and Jill. But in all honesty, we thought about converting the upstairs like theater room into a bedroom, but there's no windows up there and it just seemed off to like have a bedroom with no windows. And also it felt weird to have that be a bedroom right off of like a play area where it's kind of loud, and who would we put up there and who's comfortable up there with all the stairs, and it was just a lot to unravel and think about. So we just thought, you know what, if we have it in our budget, which we do, to add on, wouldn't that be great if we could do that? So we are having a contractor come out and see if where we can do it, what that would look like and all of that. So hopefully it'll probably take a year or so for that project to be finished because everything is taking so long. I mean, even getting a pool, because we talked about time frame of like if we were to install a pool and a deck or whatever, how long that would take. It's like a year for that as well. So as in, you know, a few years ago, you could have a pool in just a few months. Now it's a year because everything is backed up still somehow because of the pandemic. Even in Florida. I know those of you living in Australia are like, oh, we know. But that's why Florida is so alluring to a lot of people, because we have been open for so long. But did those deadbeats at Food Network call you yet? Not yet. When you get a new oven, will you follow recipes or still bake everything at 411 degrees? Your broken oven gives me the confidence to adjust recipe temperatures as needed when I bake multiple things at once. If it works for Kim, it'll work for me. I love that so much. So, funny enough, I was actually in the kitchen the other day making football appetizers, and it took me 20 minutes to get my oven to turn on. And it's been increasingly more difficult for me to, you know, punch in the numbers that I need on the oven. So I almost called it. I almost, you know, time of death, 1538. I was at that point, and then wouldn't you know it, a beep, 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 it lives another day. My poor oven is definitely on its deathbed, has been. How long has the oven been? It's at least been a year since it stopped working. I wanna say it's actually been way longer than that, but it just keeps pushing through for me. And I know, I also got a lot of questions, like, why don't you just replace the oven since we're keeping our house to rent it out? You have to replace it anyway. I know it's not logical, but in my brain, I said, if we go 1 month without having a large expense, I will buy a new oven. And wouldn't you know it, every single month, something happens. It's either new tires on the car, or something happens with the car we have to fix, or our AC went out, which just happened. And do you know how much an AC unit costs? Thousands of dollars. I'm talking 5 figures. And I mean, I have the money to buy multiple things at once, but in my mind, it's not logical. I know it's not logical, but I also don't want to buy a new. I love our stove. I love our oven. But in my mind, I thought I don't want to replace it because it is expensive. I have a convection oven. I have an induction stovetop, so it's pretty pricey. And I like that. I like the way it functions. Would I buy that for renters? No. So since I know we're moving soon, I will be buying a new oven. It won't be up to Food Network standards. It will still be a nice oven. It just won't be like top of the line. You know what I mean? So I put it off for just the right time. My oven is over there. You found a house. Put me out of my misery. Not yet. Ooh, what's your favorite food and TV guilty pleasures? What is a trend you wish would go away? Favorite YouTubers? What would you like to learn to do? Oh my gosh, so many questions in one, and it only got 1 like. What? Favorite food is so hard. I don't know. I love Mexican food, love Greek food. It depends on the day. I also like Italian food, really like German food. Ooh, you know what else I like? Curry, like Indian dishes. I love food. Period. It's very hard for me to pick favorites. I'm very fickle. I don't have a favorite color. I don't have a favorite movie. I don't have a favorite song because I like so many things. I do have a favorite child though, I'm just saying. TV guilty pleasure, The Bachelor. Right now is Bachelor in Paradise. Love it so much. My husband cannot understand why I like it. I don't really understand why I like watching it. I just do. I think it's fun, and that's what it is. It's my guilty pleasure. Let me have it. Get off my back, okay? Favorite YouTubers. Okay, this is so hard, and here's why. Because I myself am a YouTuber, and I don't know, when other people are like, oh, watch XYZ people, I'm like, oh, but what about me? So I don't want to leave anyone out. I have so many favorites. I have so many people that I watch that have no idea who I am, and those are probably my favorites. So I don't know. I watch Kendall Ray a lot. She does true crime. She is probably one of my favorites. I also listen to her podcast that she has with one of her cousins. It's called The Sesh. I listen to that while I'm cleaning, while I'm doing my nails, whatever. It's just like oh, those are my friends, you know? But I also watch so many other people who cook and clean and do like motherhood type of stuff too. So there's way too many for me to name. Way too many. But it's probably similar to the people that you watch as well. I realize you're incredibly busy, but do you like reading? Nope. I find I used to want to read a lot. I used to want to like be that woman who like read a book. And I find it's just not for me. I used to listen to audiobooks a lot because my previous business, placenta encapsulation, I used to do it. I stopped doing it because of the plague that started. Alex and I decided the liability was too much. We don't want to be responsible if we were to pass it along, even though we've been this long, we haven't gotten it yet. I just can't even comprehend because we've been around people like the day before they got a positive test and we're like, okay, sure enough, this is our time. And then we haven't gotten it. So, and you know that, I mean, that kind of stuff happened even before the vaccine was available. So hopefully, I don't know, hopefully we're not gonna get it. And sometimes we think, oh, maybe we've already had it before it was a thing, you know? So I don't know. But anyway, we stopped our business because of, you know, the whole liability situation. But when we would do that, Alex and I would listen to audiobooks in the car because there was a lot of driving involved, driving to hospitals, driving to other people's houses to deliver. So it was just something to keep us busy because the radios play the same 5 songs on rotation. Marriage advice is always welcome, and do your kids ever act up? They always seem so well behaved. My kids are fairly well behaved, but that doesn't mean they go without throwing fits or having their days or, you know, every child is different. And I feel like you have to parent each child individually because what works for one child is not going to work for a next. Our 2 oldest are polar opposites from each other, and that's a big reason why we needed to move. We needed them to have separate rooms. They just have different interests, different bedtimes. You know, they're different ages. They're 3 years apart, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot. And then you add on top of that different personalities. So, and just like adults, we have different personalities where we're comfortable doing certain things or, you know, being busy a certain amount of times. Other kids, other adults need downtime. They maybe more downtime than other children need or whatever. So we have to kind of adapt to our children. What was the question? Oh, do they ever act up? Heck yeah, they act up. I'd like to think they act up more at home than anywhere else because this is where they're comfortable. This is where they let their guard down. And yeah, I mean, no one's perfect. I act up. I'm an adult. Alex acts up. We all throw fits. As adults, we throw fits. Why are kids gonna be any different? Why do some adults expect perfection out of children? Like, oh, don't throw fits, stop crying, blah, blah, blah. Well, like, they're learning through their emotions, that they have to like work through them. And ooh, there's a quote, and maybe this is what you need to hear today. If I can remember the quote, it goes something like, your kids aren't trying to give you a hard time, they're having a hard time. And it's our job as parents to help them work through it, to give them coping skills, to help them learn and manage their way through their bad days or their bad times or whatever it may be. So there's that. But they are well behaved and we are very lucky. We have 4 incredible children and they're healthy, and that's the most important part. Oh my gosh, how did you get back into shape after Meredith? You look so good. My son is almost 9 months and I've had trouble getting back into a healthy lifestyle. Oh my gosh, if I could totally erase the perception that people have of bouncing back after having a baby. Woo! And I've seen it on Instagram myself where like, and it's not just celebrities, it's normal everyday people like you and me. I don't know if they have the right angles or whatever, but it's people who had a baby and then, I don't know, a day later you're like, you had a baby? So nice of you to say that I look good after having Meredith. It has been almost 2 years and I'm still holding on to baby weight. Listen, okay. So after I had Avelina, I thought, all right, I'm gonna get back into it. I'm gonna fit into my clothes. I'm gonna do XYZ. It's gonna be great. And the whole perception of 9 months in, 9 months out, you know, it took you 9 months to put everything on. Give yourself 9 months to take it off. Like, I don't know that it, first of all, may work for some people. Doesn't work for me. I could be eating right. Oh, okay, after my first, I didn't eat right. My diet consists, all I wanted to eat after I had my first were waffles and cake frosting. And maybe some cake, but mostly the frosting. That's all I wanted to eat. And I was breastfeeding and I was so overwhelmed with everything. I didn't care. So I ate it. And I'm pretty sure I gained weight after I had, you know, when I was in my postpartum period. It's just, it's a lot. Did you say it was your first kid? My son's almost 9 months. So I don't know if it's your first, but listen. Like, just give your body time. It's been through a lot. You are going through a lot. Don't worry about what your body looks like. Oh my gosh, can I tell you? When you are no longer on this earth, do you know how you're going to be remembered? You're going to be remembered by the way you made people feel. When you're at a funeral and you hear people at the pulpit talking about whoever has passed, you never hear them say, they had a banging body. Man, she was so in shape. Her muscles were swole and her triceps were cut. No one's going to care. No one's gonna say she was a size 4 and I really envied her for that. No, they're going to remember you by how you made them feel, by what you did. I just wish we would forget about the notion of like bouncing back after baby or wanting to be a certain size, as long as you're healthy. And, oh, did you say something about being healthy? And that may take you a little bit longer to get back into your healthy lifestyle, but just let it run its course. Let it take a little bit longer, because your sole responsibility right now is keeping that baby alive, keeping that little human being who is incapable of doing anything on its own. That's your job. And it was hard for me to understand that after I had my first, because I thought, I'm getting Julian Michaels 30-day shred up in here. I'm gonna move and it is important to move your body. Take your baby on walks. I took my baby on walks. I did the whole 9 yards, kept gaining weight because I kept eating those waffles and they were delicious. Maybe not the best choice, but I didn't eat the waffles forever. It's a season of life and you'll get back into it when the time is right, when you feel ready for it. Because let's be honest, having a kid is a lot of work. It's more work than anyone ever told me about. I just thought, I mean, there's so much I could say about having a kid and the things that people tell you about versus what they never even mention. Am I doing enough? What are my kids going to remember about me when I'm older and they're complaining about, my mom used to do X, Y, Z? What are they going to say? I don't know. So much worrying and it gets me nowhere. Alex is the biggest worrier. I'm not as bad as Alex, and I worry inwardly. He worries outwardly. So he worries about everything. I tell him, worrying's like a rocking chair, gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Doesn't stop him from doing it. He worries enough for both of us, really. So I think I worry a little less, but that is something that no one told me about parenting ever. So anyway, listen, the pandemic hit and I stopped going to the gym. So am I at my peak of healthy? Nope. I eat brownies. I live I would like to say, healthy lifestyle. I do move my body. I eat fruits and vegetables, but there's also a balance, I think, that happens. I eat brownies and I don't feel guilty about it because YOLO. I'm sure there's a million other things I can say about that, and I don't even know if what I meant to say came out the right way, but I hope it did. I feel like I talked about that enough. Would you rather never go to Costco again or never go to Target again? I know, so hard. I would never go to Costco again. Target has everything. Might be more expensive at Target, but Target has everything. Doesn't have it in bulk. Does Target have everything Costco has? Do they have Miss Vicky's spicy dill pickle chips? Because that's all I really want from Costco right now. What is one thing you hope your kids learn from you? Ooh, deep. So much pressure. One thing that I hope my kids learn a million things from me. Most important though, a good work ethic, but also I know that work isn't everything. Ugh. Life is a comedy, not a drama. That's something Alex says a lot. So I hope they know that. And our kids are all really funny, which is fun to watch, but also can be frustrating because when you want them to be serious. I took Avelina to the mall the other day and she was cracking me up. She always cracks me up. She is really, really funny, but she did something. I was trying to speak to her like as a mom, go put that back. She had something, anyway, it's a long story, but she had me in stitches what she did. So I just hope they learn not to take life too seriously. I think Alex and I do a really good job of setting good examples for that. If the Food Network invited you on, would you leave YouTube? It's never going to happen. Why have you never done a Kohl's shop with me? I don't know, man. I don't know why I don't enjoy being in Kohl's. You know what? I did one on Instagram. I shared a couple clips on Instagram because I had to go there for shoes and they didn't have any shoes that I needed for Avelina. I don't know, maybe I'm gonna have to go to Kohl's soon. You know, my mom works at Kohl's, not near me. She's in a completely different state, but if I buy anything offline, I can use her discount. Is that against the law? I don't know, I do it. I don't do it often because I rarely buy anything from Kohl's. A lot of you have asked where I got my bedspread. That's from Kohl's. It's really pretty. It was, in my mind it was expensive. I think my mom bought it. I think I bought it offline using her Kohl's card and she like didn't take money from us. She's like, it's my birthday gift to you. So that was 5 years ago and it's still beautiful. It's still in great condition. I love it. So Kohl, I know Kohl's has some really good quality stuff. I don't think you've ever told us about your Disney pin story. I don't know why I would, and I don't know what story you're talking about. I've been waiting a long time for that one. Wow, sorry. I personally don't get the hype over pin trading, so I'm really curious what your story is about. Okay, so I don't know what to say. When I was in high school, I got a lanyard. My friend and I would drive up to downtown Disney and get pins, and you know, I was in high school, so it was beginning of 2000s. You know, 2003, 2004, I graduated in 2005. So, you know, we would collect these pins. And so I had them for a really long time until I had Avelina. And our first trip to Disney was when she was, I don't know, 3 or 6. She must have been 6, old enough for her to interact with other humans and trade pins and stuff. So, gosh, was she 6? Yeah, our first time. Okay, so I let her have my lanyard of pins and I thought, this is gonna be so fun. It was zero fun for me. Fun for her, because she would meet cast members and the cast members would look at the pins and be like, oh my gosh, it's vintage, because, you know, at that point it's 20 years old. And was it 20 years old? Old enough to be considered like, wow, not new anyway. And so the cast members would have a field day and they would say, you know, oh, I'll trade you anything I have for this one. And so Avelina would pick like the dumbest pins. And then I'd be like, oh, and no more pin trading. I had a really hard time letting go of these stupid pins that I do nothing with. Alex is like, you don't do anything with the pins. Why not trade them? For some reason, I was like, I don't know why. I just can't. So I let her trade a couple more, and every time I had to walk away, I was like, oh, it hurts. It hurts my heart. I can't do it. So maybe that's the pin trading story. So I still have the lanyard. Don't ask me where it is. It's probably in like a box somewhere. It's not as even if I display them or enjoy them. I should have just let her trade all of them, but for whatever reason, I had an attachment to them and thought, wow, I like that, and I don't want to trade it. I think it was, I mean, she was so young. She didn't understand, and I remember she picked like, what was it? Just so dumb. Just real pins that were not even cute. No meaning behind it. You know, all the pins I had in my mind had like some deep meaning behind it, and oh, this is all, whatever, it's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. So you waited real long for that story. Was it worth it? Was it worth the wait? I would say no. If you can have an hour or 2 each day guaranteed that you had to spend on yourself, ooh, bettering yourself, picking up a hobby you always wanted to try, etc., how would you spend it? I know I always use my spare time on cleaning or taking care of the family, and I'm sure we all wish we had more time for ourselves. I think I would lay in bed and watch Halloween Town. Oh my gosh. Don't we all wish that there were like a couple extra hours in the day? But then even if there were a couple of extra hours in the day, we would spend them, well, at least I would spend them still doing stuff for other people. It's just, the season of life that I'm in right now, and I've just come to accept it. It's a busy season of life. It's not really about me. It's more about my kids, my family, and growing all of that. When they're grown, then it'll be somewhat more about me and Alex and I. For the time being, we do our best. So like my me time, I don't even know what that looks like. I mean, I shave my legs like once a week, and that takes what, 5 minutes? And then I look back to when I was in high school. Shoot, I used to shave my arms. Did anyone shave their arms in high school? Oh gosh, I did. I want to say that was short-lived, but like even doing my hair in college, I would curl my hair and like I would wake up early and like, you know, just do all the things that now as a mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, you had all the time in the world. That's another thing that no one told me about when having kids. I don't know if it's necessarily you lose yourself, but you reprioritize what's important and what isn't. So like my hair, not important for me to blow dry it. It's still kind of wet. I took a shower this morning. My makeup takes me 5 minutes to throw on my face. You know, having me time is few and far between, but I know my time is better spent doing other things. Not to say that I'm not important, then I'm not worthy of spending time on myself, because I am, and I do get to do things, and I'm lucky to have my job here also include things that I enjoy. So like shopping, doing shop with me videos, just, you know, window shopping if it's just that, or going thrift store shopping is fun. So I get to do that, but also have it be part of my job. So I'm lucky in that aspect. And Alex is always really good about, I'll text him when I'm done with like a cook with me, and he'll be like, okay, well, I won't be home for another, you know, 30 minutes, an hour or whatever. He's like, take that time for yourself. What I do in that time, I feel like that time goes by in a blink of an eye, right? 2 hours can go by and you'd be like, what, it's been 2 hours? I mean, there are a million things that I want to do, but I'm sure once that time actually comes for me to put that effort to myself, will those things be the same? No, I'm sure it'll change, and I'm sure that I'll want to do different things as I get older. Watching Halloween Town, I mean, that sounds pretty awesome. I'd be down for that. Were you funny and outgoing as a child and in high school? Or were you shy then? I think you said you were a cheerleader, so I'm guessing you were outgoing, but that's not always the case. Love your humor and how relatable you are. Thanks. Thanks so much. You guys are so nice to me. Okay, so this is a multifaceted answer to this. Was I always funny and outgoing as a child? Yes and no. Was I shy then? Yes and no. I was a cheerleader in high school, and I was pretty outgoing. I spoke about this in my last Q&A, just went to the beat of my own drum. What's that expression? Dance to the beat of my own drum. I did my own thing. Oh, I've always been like that. Was I shy growing up? Yes. Was I also outgoing growing up? Yeah. Was I funny? Of course I was funny. I'm probably the least funny out of like all my siblings. And like even my house now, I'm not really the funniest. My kids are funny. My husband's really funny. It's, you guys just see more of me, so you think that I'm funny. And funny is subjective. Some people don't like me at all, and that's fine. It's whatever. So as a child, around my friends, I was very outgoing, but around adults, I was more reserved and shy. And okay, so this is multi-level. So when I was a kid, you know, as a child, at least I was, I don't think it's uncommon to be taught, be respectful to adults, don't speak when adults are speaking. You know, you're a child, and for whatever reason, like, your opinion doesn't matter. Not that my parents ever said those words specifically to me, but even kids now, like, adults are speaking, just a second, we'll get to you. So growing up, I always had that, like, okay, adults are speaking, that's when we kind of sit back. And also, being in a room, like, I was the youngest of 5 kids, you know, growing up, there were always there's always a lot going on. People were loud. We come from an Italian family, like, they're loud. And so I always just kind of like kept to myself. I was very observant of other people, and that rolled into, okay, 2 stories I want to say. One about when I was in elementary school, one about my aunt. Don't let me forget to tell you both of them. And then also about becoming an adult and okay, so 3rd story, and dealing with overcoming those issues of like, oh, now I'm around adults. Okay, so first off, this story is important because it kind of just ties into it, and I'm just like reminded of it. So when I was in elementary school, very vividly, I remember sitting in the cafeteria with a friend of mine, and he said, oh my gosh, you're so funny at lunchtime, but then when we're in the classroom and it's time to work, you're like hyper focused and you're all about that and you don't talk a lot. And that pretty much sums me up to this day. Like, yes, I can be, you know, outgoing, but also when it's time to work, nose to the grindstone. I know that if I have a job that needs to be done, I will do it. Also, like when I had my business, I was professional when I would meet clients. And then, you know, it's just when you're in certain settings, you learn to read the room, and, you know, I can kind of be a chameleon and become what I need to be in that environment. Does that make any sense? I don't know. But like if I'm in a setting where a bunch of people are loud, I'm not gonna come in and be like, bleh! I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, there's enough of this going on, you know? So fast forward, and my aunt recently asked, like, oh, you're so outgoing, I've never known you to be this outgoing. And she's like, when did that switch happen? You know, she said she's noticed it just the past several years. And in that moment, I was like, oh, I don't know. I've always been like this. I've always been like this around my friends. This is like, nothing is different. But in her eyes, I had to like sit back and think, what, like, why would she even think that? Well, it's because I was taught around adults to behave a certain way, to be respectful. I think that's why she had a certain perception of me. And that's because of the way that I grew up, to be around adults, to the certain way to behave around adults. So fast forward to when I met Alex. Oh my gosh, he's the same around a 2-year-old as he is around a 98-year-old. Like, he just is. He's very open. He lives like this. He is outgoing to the T. He has 0% introvert in him. He's 100% extrovert. And so when I first met him, you know, we were 18, 19, 20 when we got married. He had some friends that were older than us, so in their like 40s, 50s. They were co-workers, and we would go out to lunch with them, out to dinner with them, whatever. We would play like Scrabble game night with them, and he was just like living just how he is around them. And I just was in awe of like, what? This is okay to behave this way? And so for me, initially, I have very vivid memories of being in those social settings with adults, thinking like, what is appropriate? What, like, how can I behave that's acceptable? Coming into my adulthood, I think was more of a challenge for me, being around other adults, realizing that I too am an adult. So that took quite a few years, I think, to kind of find my footing and realize, well, people are people. Even if they look as professional as you think they are, once you get to know them, we're all the same. It doesn't matter. We're all a mess. We're all somewhat crazy. Some of us have it more together than others, but at the, you know, at the core base of us, we're all just trying to figure it out. And I've learned that more often than not, mostly meeting like, so Aveline has been in school since she was 3 years old. So it's been several years that, you know, we've had play dates with kids her age, and the people at her school are more put together. Most of them are older with younger kids. And so being around them and getting to know them on a deeper level, from an outward appearance, you'd think, oh my gosh, they're so professional. They have everything put together. Whoa, look at that, you know, woman across the room moment, truly. And then getting to know them thinking, they're just the same as me. So just through the years learning that. Anyway, what was the question? I don't even remember. Okay, did I touch on all 3 points? I don't know if I did, but that's all I have left in my brain. So short story long, have I always been this way? Yes. I was always the one cracking jokes. I was always the one, I was like the mom in the group, always making food for everyone, always made sure everyone was taken care of. I had a job at a very young age. Well, very young, I was 16. But I've always had like a steady job. My first job was Walgreens at the beauty counter. Top notch. I got paid way more money than I should have. This gangly little girl with like probably orange foundation. Hi, can I help you? Anyway, did I answer that enough? I feel like I did. So short story long, I act with you how I would act with a friend. I don't put on like my professional face. It's just us hanging out like friends. Can we please expect some school lunch videos again? I have been trying to work on this. I've shared several on Instagram, on my Instagram Reels, so they stay there forever. It's not just a story and then it goes away within 24 hours. It's in my Reels. So I have shared some. I've been wanting to put together like a month of what's for lunch. So that's it on my list of things to do. So eventually I will figure out a way to share that. But yes, hopefully in some facet, I will get a school lunch video up for you. I struggle with like, I don't know what's good enough to share and what's interesting, and because I know there's like a million other people doing it too, and better is subjective, but anyway. Have you started Christmas shopping yet? Oh no, I'm the worst at this. And I heard on the radio the other day that you should be starting earlier because people are having trouble, or I guess the buzz that's going around is that they're not going to have as much inventory this year as they have had previous years because everything that's going on. So start early. Do what I say, not what I do. Okay, rapid fire questions before I bring Alex in. How do you have so much energy when you're filming? I picture you not even sleeping at night because you're so busy. I rarely sleep, although some days, I feel like a couple times a year, I crash early. Like I'll go to bed at 9 p.m. early. Most nights I go to bed at around 11, maybe 11:30, maybe midnight, and then wake up at 6 or earlier, depending on what I have to do. Yeah, I will say I felt a lot busier when I had our other business. So I would have like 2 jobs, YouTube and the other business, the placenta encapsulation, and then also working out 5 times a week. I haven't been working out, which is something that I really need to start doing now because I find the kids are in school, everything, finding my routine, but now we're moving. I'm like, oh, how is that gonna work? Oh, the kids are staying in the same school. That question was asked. We're not moving very far from where we live right now, which is very nice. Also, something that we were looking for. Location is everything. Someone said it in the video that I said, is this our house? It's gotta be our house, right? It is our house. But it was like the top comment. I don't know if I pinned it or if I got the most thumbs up, but someone said location is everything in real estate. And that is a fact. That is a #1 fact. So much for rapid fire. I don't even know if I answered the question. Oh, I was wondering if you ever got an update on the Walmart photo fiasco. Have they ever tried reaching out to make amends or try to sponsor you? Wouldn't that be amazing if they tried to sponsor me? That would kind of like compensate me for, the crap that they've given me. So if you don't know, I don't know, short story long, I made a video about it or whatever, but rapid fire, no, they never have. I don't know if I would ever even accept it if they did. Ugh, I freaking hate them so much. But like, what do you expect? You know what I mean? They don't care about me. I don't care about them. And you know what? I don't do shop with me's there, so I wonder how much business they're losing. I'm just saying. Plenty of other people do shop with me's at Walmart though, I'm just saying. How did you learn how to cook? And how do you get your kids to eat your recipes? My son is such a picky eater and always hesitant to try new foods. He always has allergies, so I'm curious to know if that changed the way your kids eat now that you know about their allergies. So, the kids' allergies, they're actually adapting really well to them for the most part. There are certain things that they're like, oh, never again am I able to eat this. Like, yeah, but there are plenty of alternatives. Look at all of this wonderful food that you can eat. I try to emphasize not what they're unable to eat now, but look at all of this is what you can eat. But kids, they're like zeroed in on, oh, I can't have that, whatever. With the foods, with dinners, it's been fairly easy. We used to be, several years ago, we were vegan. We were dairy free for longer than we were vegan. And so finding recipes that are that way are pretty simple, especially nowadays with all the alternatives, all the options at the grocery stores, all of the Whole30, dietary lifestyles, and I think paleo is without cheese, so you have all these different diet plans, lifestyle choices, whatever you want to call them. I mean, there's plenty of recipes online, Pinterest, cookbooks, all that good stuff. But back when I was doing it initially, this was 10 years ago, there was like, Pinterest barely existed. Rapid fire, I forgot. They're doing really well with it. And yeah. What's your favorite SNL sketch? Too many to name. Too many. And I feel like I don't watch SNL enough. I really enjoy SNL. Oh my gosh, we recently started watching something called I Think You Should Leave. It is very inappropriate. So watch it when everyone goes to bed. Alex and I watch like 10 minutes at a time, but it's very similar to an SNL sketch, but it's very, very funny. First time you watch, you're like, what did I turn on? And then you keep watching and you're like, this is so ridiculous. It's like over the top. It just keeps going until it's funny, and it's, I mean, really funny. Favorite SNL, I mean, it's so hard because like Molly Shannon, love all of her sketches. And then, oh gosh, what's her name? I just got a brain fart. Kristen Wiig, the Target lady. Ooh, a Target. Look at these booties. She is so hilarious. Oh my gosh, and then the horse blinders or whatever. Oh no, what's the one where she like one-ups the person? Oh man, see, I haven't watched those in so long. I don't even know if she's like still a reoccurring character, but those were funny. Oh, what's that there? I see you have a diamond necklace. Oh, it looks like I have 4 diamond necklaces. It's no big deal. Oh man, she can go on, and just SNL just in general just makes life happier. There's a reason why there's like 79 seasons of SNL. It's because it's just pure happiness. What program do you use to edit your videos? I use Final Cut Pro, but the edits that I do, I don't need Final Cut Pro. I could use iMovie, which is free if you have like a Mac. Tell more about when you lived in Italy. How was it? How old were you? What made you two move there? How long were you there? Were you married at the time? So we initially moved there because Alex was in the Air Force and he got stationed over there. And initially, I don't think I've ever told you this, but I did not want to go. I knew that I would not be able to finish my nursing degree over there. I didn't know Italian. Like, what am I gonna do? Oh, and I didn't. But moving over there was magical in its own way. It was a huge culture shock, but once we were there for a few years, moving back to the States was a culture shock, but living over in Italy was so beautiful. Oh my gosh, just living overseas in general, and I don't know if it's because it was just Alex and I, we didn't have any kids. I'm sure my experience would be different otherwise. Also, we were very frugal, but in other ways, we did spend money on what mattered, like traveling. So we traveled as many places as we could because we really took advantage of the opportunity living over there. You know, 30-minute drive, well, a 30-minute drive for us would get us to Venice, but I mean, really 30 minutes, maybe an hour the other way would get us to Austria. Just like, I think of a 4-hour drive from where we are now, we'd still be in Florida. Like that's where we are. But a 4-hour drive in Europe, shoot, you could be up through Germany, up all the way through, you know, all those little Brussels and Belgium, Switzerland, everything over there. So we really tried to take advantage of our time over there, and we traveled a lot and we had a great fun. We saw a lot. I feel like we lived a lot. We experienced a lot together, and we were young. We were 20. I think we moved there when we were 21. And then moved, or maybe we were 20. Anyway, we were young, but we knew enough to know that it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to take advantage of, and we definitely did that. Also ate a ton of gelato and a ton of Nutella. Ooh, what was your wedding like at 20? You posted on Instagram asking if we wish we would change anything. Would you change anything about how yours went? Love your channel. You feel like a friend to me. You feel like a friend to me too, Casey. Our wedding was magical. The whole 9 yards. It was a huge wedding. And I shared on my Instagram, like, if I were to do it again, and it's easy for me to say this because I have had the big wedding, but I would have a very small, intimate wedding focusing on the vows, because that's really what a wedding is all about. The vows. That's what matters. That's what weddings are truly all about. So if I were to do it again, yeah, I would not. I would take the money spent on a wedding and maybe put that towards something else. To traveling, to, you know, our first house purchase. Weddings are so expensive, but like, I mean, like I said, it's easier for me to say that because we have had the big wedding and we've gone through it. So if I had a small wedding, would I think, oh, I wish we would have had the big elaborate, you know, done everything, invited everyone we've ever met. And really, we didn't invite everyone we've ever met. We both have very large families, so it was mostly families, and then like, I don't know, 30-ish friends, but it was very large and lovely. It was beautiful. Would I change anything? The catering. The food was, oh, you know what I would change? This is what I would change. The day of our wedding, we left, so we kind of had 2 honeymoons where we spoiled ourselves. We went to Disney for a couple of nights. the night of our wedding. We drove straight to Disney, stayed there for a couple of days, and then we had our later honeymoon in Paris. We went to Paris, France. Oh my gosh, that was magical in and of itself. Now, I will say, I would change that if I knew a couple years later, or that year, however long it was, we would be living in Europe. I would have gone to Hawaii for our honeymoon and not Paris, but that's the way it ended up working out. So anyway, the honeymoon was wonderful, but this is what I would change, okay? The night of the wedding, I would stay home. Because you know what you get the night of your wedding? All the leftover food. Our catering was so good. Our cake was so good. I would have said, forget about Disney. I'm staying home and eating all the leftover food and all the leftover cake. Disney can wait. Man, the food was so good. That's what I would change. But also, there was some mishaps with the catering, with like, I don't know. They were like, it's a long story and also not a great one, so I'm not going to share it. But for the most part, our wedding was great. So there's that. Okay, I'm gonna pull in Alex now. There were a few questions for him, so let's go get her. Wait, they asked you questions? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's exciting.
Well, pull yours out.
Pull my questions out?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first question was, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
That's not a real question.
That's what they asked me. 3.
3
right.
What?
I haven't decided. All right, next question.
That's not even an answer.
I know this is OPSEC question, which means Operation Security.
Oh.
What was your MOS or specialty in the Air Force?
Can you share that? Oh, well, yeah, the technical.
Yeah. I was an armament systems specialist.
Congratulations.
And we worked on nuclear munitions.
Can you say that?
Sure. Can I?
I thought the Air Force could not confirm nor deny their use of nuclear weapons. Right?
I don't know. I don't know if they were real.
What's done is done.
What is your favorite kind of potato? Do you like the mashed potato or the French fried potato or the hash brown potato?
Riveting question.
Well, I don't really like potatoes. I will eat them because I'll pretty much eat anything. But I would have to go with mashed, and then a baked potato. Giving me one of those is a waste of a potato because I never eat it. And then hash browns are pretty good.
What about waffles? Is that an option?
Mashed, French, fried.
I'll eat them all. I'll eat all the potatoes he doesn't eat.
Is that Kim's merchandise on your shirt?
Shut the heck up. Someone asked that? What is one thing you and your husband like most about each other?
Go ahead.
Your humor.
That's why I like you. Your humor.
Oh, rude. No, it's not.
Why not? You are right. You are right. It is not.
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear. You see, I get to look at this smile all day. It's beautiful.
Not all day.
That's true. I have another question. Someone said, what is the best gift you've ever given your wife?
Oh.
You know what mine is? Coming up. That's
not fair.
This anniversary, I thought about this when I put a lot of work into it. I'm telling you.
I feel like you have to tell them the backstory about your gift giving.
I'm really, really bad at gift giving. I don't like it. I'm not good at it. Whenever I order things, they seem to never work out. Or never
work out. He'll be like, I ordered your whatever gift today. And they'll be like, oh, okay. And he'll hype it up until my birthday or whatever. Right. And I'll be like, oh, where is my birthday gift? Oh, well, I can't get it to you. No, or I'm saving it for, or what? There was one gift where we're like, oh, I'll give it to you this time or next. And remember, you were like, oh, it's in my desk. I'm not sure I ever got it. She wanted this game. She wanted this board game. She always said, I want this board game, I want this board game. Oh, Mall Madness. I got it, and I was really excited. I gave it to her missing pieces. No, I think it was just old. And no, it's missing pieces. I'm telling you. I thought it didn't work. And one of the things doesn't work, and so that's. But it was just fun having the board game. I didn't want another one, but he went out and figured out how to get me another one. No, you have two. One with missing pieces that doesn't work. Yeah. That's how I over-deliver. One time, I got him a guitar because he wanted to learn how to play guitar, and they sent me two. I know, right? Yeah. But you're good at gift giving. You're always very thoughtful. Yeah. I think the best wedding gift is towels. Extra, extra large towels. Oh yeah, very he fluffy. Really liked our towels as a wedding gift. So now every time we go to a wedding, he says, let's get them towels. Do we still have the towels from the wedding? 15 years ago? I think, yeah, we do. Yeah. And they're still
fluffy and nice.
First of all, we have not been married for 15 years. He does that all the time. People ask him, oh, how long have you guys been married? He just said 15 years ago we got those towels. No, how long have we really been married?
13 years.
13. But he tells people, even if they ask today, he'll say 14. Because we're going on 14. The day of our 13th wedding anniversary, people will ask, how long have you been married? And he'll say 14. Because we're going on 14.
Yeah, that's good. It's true.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
13.
So we've been married 15 years. I always round up to the 5.
What's Alex studying? I remember you saying he was in school. Yeah, he's going for his master's. He's studying.
Yep. Well, this is I don't think any of our professors watch this, but I'm actually leaving one university just because I don't feel that's the direction I want to go in anymore for my master's. So I'm going to another university starting in spring. I just actually wrote them today and they wrote me back.
No way.
So I have to reapply again, but they're going to give me a code so I don't have to pay the $40 application fee.
Serious?
Again.
Because he already paid it?
Because I already paid. That's
how cheap he is.
I got excited. I got accepted into both universities, but I took the one that was closer to us, and I probably should have taken the other one. But I'm going to try it out and see what happens.
Yeah, and then go figure, he had to do virtual school anyway, so...
Yeah, right.
So dumb.
I was watching old videos and saw Alex wearing medical marijuana shirts. Is he comfortable talking about why he uses it? I use medical marijuana because I have a really bad back and my legs are numb a lot and it's hard to walk sometimes. So I just use marijuana pretty much in gummy form, mostly medicinally. So at night, about 45 minutes before I go to bed, I'll take a little chocolate bar and I just a piece of it, and then 45 minutes my legs don't hurt anymore and I can sleep through the night. And then in the morning, if my legs are hurting in the morning, I'll take one in the morning. So, but the one I take in the morning is called a sativa, so it's kind of like coffee a little bit, and then the one I take at night is called an indica. So yeah, so that's my medical marijuana use. And for all of you that do use it, don't be ashamed of it. Don't feel like you're less of a person or an addict or however your grandparents make you feel. It actually works. It's better than being on painkills. Ouch.
Ooh.
Okay, this one says, on a scale from 1 to 10, how useful would you rate a butter knife? 10?
You know why they asked that?
Because something you mentioned in one of your videos about a butter knife?
Yeah.
Okay, so I watch all her videos, but I probably don't watch them how you watch them, where you actually, are into it, things like that. I'm just listening, and while I'm, working or doing my studies or whatever, I listen for the jokes. Because we're all here for the jokes, because Kim is hilarious. All right, next question. If we could move to any other state, what would it be? I would just say probably Pennsylvania, because that's where your family's at.
Oh, I would say Seattle.
Seattle. That's not a state.
I would say Washington State. More specifically, Seattle, Washington. How do you keep your hair so long? I just don't cut it. Actually, I feel like it hasn't been that long since I cut it. It just grew again. I don't know, man. Vitamins.
So the next question we have is, can you tell us about the Nicolas Cage pillow?
Okay. You guys have asked for so long, so I guess we'll just tell you, right?
Yeah.
Here's how it started. It's the gag gift that keeps on giving.
What is my favorite dad joke, and what's the best thing about being a dad?
Oh, that's a good one.
So as I'm getting older and meeting more dads and whatever, everybody's parenting style is completely different. So I'm one of those people that I want to be around my kids as much as possible. I like doing stuff with them. I like being home. I like, I go golfing maybe 3 times a year. Right?
Yeah, now.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just like being with my kids and doing stuff and knowing that they're around and we kind of, we bought. Okay, did you talk about buying the house?
Hmm?
Okay, so we bought 3 acres, and we talk about putting houses on the property so they could all live with us.
Yeah.
But then there's some people that are like, oh, how are you gonna feel later? You know.
Good.
Good.
How many tattoos do you have?
No tattoos.
What was the question that you were just talking about, the kids and wanting to spend time with them? Do you think it's because of your upbringing? Did you talk about it in the last Q&A?
I don't know. My dad was, I mean, like a lot of people's dads.
Pretty absent.
Yeah, he just wasn't home. I mean, he worked so much.
Well.
So he did whatever. So,
he did whatever is different than working.
yeah.
It was he had a very complicated upbringing, and I feel like you are the father that like you want to be because you know what it's like to have the opposite.
Right. It's
Yeah.
not cool.
Good
I
job.
just want to be around.
Yeah.
Around you. All right, next question.
What were you like in high school? Clubs, activities, friends groups, favorite high school memories?
Do you know the clubs and stuff I was in at school?
I know you were the treasurer. Is that right?
Of what?
Oh, like student body or student government?
I was the president.
Of student government?
I was the president of student government, the youngest ever.
What?
You're supposed to be a junior or a senior. I was a
10th grade?
I was a sophomore.
I kind of remember that, but also, where was he though? What'd you do? How could they even allow that? Like, were the seniors just like, okay, we'll give it to him?
Nobody cares, but I'll tell you the story. Nobody cares.
Boy.
I'll say it really fast. My brother rigged the election, stuffed my name full of box, all of his friends, cram-packed it, and I wasn't even in 11th grade, but they put me in there anyway. And then the current president, even though he was only like 15 or 16 years old, was a complete blown alcoholic. I mean, like, always drunk when he came to school. So at prom, anyway, the teacher...
The camera turned off, so we don't know where we last left you, but basically the most ridiculous things happen in his life. Right. Yeah, and you'd be like, that's not real, but like it is real. It's crazy. The most absurd.
But I was the treasurer of the student body dental association.
In high school?
Yep. Because I wanted to be a dentist, but my hands shake all the time. So I have like this weird shake. Could you imagine if I was a dentist? So they call it an essential tremor, but
that's what they call it.
That's what they call it. So anyways, those days. My brother's a dentist. Shout out to Mike. He offered to hook me up with free veneers.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't.
You don't need veneers.
Heck no, I don't.
Oh, what cause did Alex and you use to lobby for in DC?
The American Students Association of Community Colleges.
ASAC.
ASAC.
Uh-huh.
And we advocated to bring the Pell Grant, which at the time was only in the millions, I think. They had like... Basically, it was like first come, first serve. So people who didn't really have access to computers at their house, which was still a thing in like 2004, they had to like get it to the library. They would be like last in line because they didn't have access. The tech divide.
Yeah.
So we would go up there and got the Pell Grant from millions to billions, which is really good because the more educated people are, the higher they go into education, the less likely they are to commit crime. So that was like our whole thing. So, anyways, us and tens of thousands of other students. Yeah.
Was it thousands?
Thousands.
It was a lot, but also I feel like it was a pretty select number. It wasn't like everyone, right?
Well, there was our organization doing it, right? Yeah. And there's other organizations doing it. So when we would go to Washington, D.C., it would be full of like young students lobbying and
lobbying for student
relations.
Yeah.
Yeah. They would basically, we would sit down one of the senators, but most of the time the senators wouldn't be there. So we would be sitting down.
Oh yeah, we definitely, that was like, for me anyway, a big knock over the head, like, hey, this is how politics actually works.
Right.
Not at all what I thought it was.
Right.
And we did it for a few years. How many? We went 3 times, and you went 4, I think.
Yeah. He
went 1 more time than me. And yeah, so we did it long enough, and then by the end I was like, oh, I just couldn't believe some of the things that went down.
Yeah.
It was surprising, shocking. But going to DC, incredible. Wonderful city.
It was fun. A lot of homeless people.
Yeah, there was.
What do you do for a living? So I kind of divide my time into 3 main categories, right? So I have the stay-at-home dad role where I basically take the kids early in the morning or, just depending on what her film schedule's like. So we'll go to the museum or go to the library or go to the park. So while I'm doing that, I'm also, you know, answering emails that, you know, is with two of my businesses. One, which is live streaming, and I'm kind of getting more away from that. We were doing like fishing tournaments, and I think we did a couple weddings, and we had that going on, basketball game. So that's no longer something that I'm putting a lot of effort into. About 4 years ago, all the stuff that we were learning on YouTube, and you know, just how to grow the channel, how to keep up with all the, you know, changes with YouTube, I started helping other people grow their channels, and so now it's kind of got really big. And I would say, you know, we work with channels like Wonder Local and it's Matt DeMaio, Be Smarter Faster, and then Gabe's Let's Play Through. So these are all like channels that we've worked with. And you know, Kim's not there in the meetings and stuff, she doesn't answer emails, but she's learning it at the same time we're learning it, so she's also part of the whole system that we have going on. So we've helped a lot of people get started. You know, not everybody continues through. Maybe they start for a few months and they realize, hey, it takes 30, 40 hours a week, you know, to do this. So yeah, and I speak a lot about YouTube and how to grow, you know, how to grow your channels and how to, you know, make it maybe a side income or make it, you know, your career. So yeah, so that's the other thing. And then, you know, the student, I'm just a student, I'm going back to school. So
it's time consuming.
Those are the things that I'm doing. But being a dad is my number one. Well, actually being a husband is my number one. But that's all the time. Come on, I'm throwing them at her.
So
throwing them at her all
so
day
busy.
long. I say these nice things.
Last question, do you want any more kids?
It depends. Why? Yes, I want at least one more. She's saying one more and done, no more. If it's a boy, if the next time we have a child,
I don't know. It's so rude to.
These are my own thoughts. I'm allowed to have my own thoughts.
Okay.
Right?
I say all the time, I'm allowed to be, and then whatever. So that's why he's saying, I'm allowed to have my own thoughts.
So,
if it's a boy.
If it's a boy and she wants to be done, then we're done. That's cool. But if she says, you know what, let's have a 6-1 or whatever, I could go for that. But if it's another girl, basically what I'm getting at is I only want 4 girls, right? So.
But then what if the 6th
is a girl? There we go. 7.
Then you'd have 5 girls. That's rude to say. It's so rude to say.
Boys, 9.
Yeah, right. Pregnancy is so hard on my body.
I know.
So hard.
I know. But you're a trooper. You always have been.
Yeah.
Watch the birthing video. She's like, you know, I'm in Target having a baby and look, clearance section, all that kind of stuff.
It's a little more challenging.
I said, just have the baby in Target.
Yeah, right. He was like, we gotta get out of here. You're gonna have the baby in Target. I was like, I'm not gonna have the baby in Target. And then there was a point where I was like, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah. But what about you?
What about me? I already answered. I told them basically, well, not what you said, but I said, I take it 1 kid at a time. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us, learning more about us and all that good stuff.
True.
Anything you want to say? True that.
True that.
Thanks for hanging out. If you want to, subscribe.
Word to your mother.
No, you're supposed to say.
Word to your mother.
No, what do I say at the end of videos?
Oh, put a little happy in your day.
See you next time. Bye.